Hi guys, welcome back. This is not my ship. Most of you will recognize it as XCaliber's build that he did for the August Designer Challenge. Um, and it's his style is quite different from mine, and I liked what he came up with here. Um, and so I wanted to explore building something kind of in that style. So while watching his build videos, I created my own here. I went, I basically copied it to start with. Just watching the video, I laid the blocks out the same he did. But I made it a block wider, well, 2 blocks wider. Let me turn this on here. So yeah, it's a block on each side wider than his is, and 1 block longer. This row of thrusters here makes it a block longer. And then after doing that, I did some reshaping. His also, on the sides here, he used a half block, which I think looks better than this. I ended up using a full block so I could put the turrets out here. But that makes it pretty wide. So it's actually it's like 3 blocks of actual width wider. A half block on each side plus the 2 in the center. And so I laid out the interior a little differently than he did on his. But this is a neat little ship. I do a lot of times just explore. I build ships all the time that either go nowhere or just get started, or parts of them get merged into future ships. But so this one I didn't even bother texturing or coloring. I've got a lot of HVs, and most of what I've done is HVs so far. And so I'm not particularly excited about this HV. But he also took that design and made a SV, and this is the SV, and he finally published them a couple days ago or a week ago. So I was waiting until they got on the workshop before I did any kind of video on them. But so this is his SV, and I don't have a lot of SVs in my repertoire yet, and so I did an SV version as well. But I went with the wider body, wider and longer. I basically started with that and turned that into an SV. And shaping was a little bit different. This is kind of a signature of XCaliber ships. He's got a line of ships that have this kind of the K-bar and Maddock, and many of his ships have this kind of front end on it, several of them. But I kind of cut that off and smoothed that out a little bit on mine. And I went with 4 rockets and 6 Gatling guns, I guess. He's got 6 Gatling guns here, and I guess no rockets. This may be earlier unlock. Unlock level 10. I guess you just left the rockets off to keep the build cost down. I wasn't too concerned about that. Mine's also unlock level 10. But I think I ended up with more engines, but it weighs more because it's bigger. But these are plastic exterior, plastic hull. And I've actually I put wings on here a little differently than he did. This is the interior I came up with. Mine is a block longer than his, so I was able to put the Pentaxid tank in here with the shield and the warp drive. He's got room back here, I think, for his. But yeah, I've used this ship in one of my playthroughs now, and I like it. It's nice and small, but it's got a warp drive, it's got a shield generator, it's got decent performance, 19, 15 on size, 19 front and back, 24 up, 10 down, and cargo, ended up with 10,000 cargo, and the ammo box is hidden, but it's got ammo controllers 2,500, and you see I named this thing Mini K-Bar. KO stands for knockoff. So it was a knockoff of one of XCaliber's designs. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I basically took that, and part of his video he was showing how to take the HV and make an SV out of it, and at the same time he did a preliminary CV, and that's what I've made here. Now I put his ships on here just to show how they fit. These are available in the workshop, his HV and his SV. So I've got one parked in there. But this is basically a CV version of I guess I probably started with my SV and scaled it up into a CV, but I replaced the whole front end on it, which is similar to my NAB Junior, I guess, front end, cockpit area, and this whole grill thing on the front. I went through several revisions on this, trying to get a reasonable shape, but ultimately I think it looks okay. Not 100% happy with it, but I think it looks okay. Had plenty of room to put guns on here. I think I've got minigun on the outside, and then these are cannons, so 6 cannons and 3 miniguns on here in total, and then it's got sentry gun down here, one here, a couple up front there, there, and around back I got one here as well. Those pop out. Those are connected to the landing gear, so they pop out when you land and go back in when you're flying. So they're set just to shoot at critters and drones. You go ahead and pop out of God mode here. So basically the idea is you might find the coloring a bit gaudy. You should have seen it before I toned it down. But the idea is to have a small CV that you can carry your, I think you called one the Rambler and one the Escobar, ships around in. I used to have a 7x5 hangar door, but I've got a big HV that I was using in my playthrough that wouldn't fit through that door. So this is a 9x5, and I slipped these entrance off. The problem is the 7x5 door is not really 7 blocks wide. Well, the door itself is, but the frame sticks inside of that, so you lose like a half a block on each side. So it's only like 6 blocks opening here, and the 9x5 is like 8 blocks opening. So you lose this like half a block here on each side. So I put the bigger door in here, and it now holds my largest HV to date. Easily fits this new XCaliber HV in here. So start over here, I guess. 320 full storage on each side. The constructors are over here, both over here. It's a large constructor. And then back here is access to get back here, but you know, it's really just so you can get in here and add more fuel tanks or repair thrusters or whatever you're going to do back here. This block is taking up, well, shield's turned on probably right now. Oh, concrete. Yeah. Yeah. So there's room to put something up there, but not down here, because I've got these little wall blocks in here, really just creating a ceiling to block that off. But you could replace those with something more useful if you need to, if you need this space here. But then back here, there's still room for fuel tanks or RCS or potentially thrusters. I think, well, these are just regular thrusters. Medium thrusters. I guess you can't, there is no T2 medium thruster, so you'd have to go up to a large to get a bigger thruster in here, and you don't need to. If you look at the performance, this one has got a steel hull with a plastic interior, and you still got this kind of performance on it. 36 in the 4 directions, 51 up, 18 down. The one with the completely made out of plastic is like 50 in each direction and 70 up and 25 or something down. The one sitting over here is, oh, this is my biggest HV, which I don't have on the workshop yet, but this is the one I was having trouble getting through the door when it was a 7x5, but it fits in here with a 9x5. This one's 70 up, 25 down, yeah, and 50 on each side. But it's the whole exterior is plastic on this one. On this one is steel. You could replace that with hardened steel or combat steel, but you're going to lose some more performance doing that. So on this side I've got the med bay things. This side I've got kind of a captain's quarters, little bed, shower, restroom. So it's a little bit asymmetrical design in that sense. Same thing down here. Got the other 320,000 storage here. Armor locker, repair station, repair console would go there, O2, and then access to the back again. This side I threw in a couple of extra containers already, and it doesn't have that overhead thing, but oh, it does have wall blocks there to provide a back for this wall here. So in between these two storage containers can't be used. They're not open. But all of this area here is still open. Down here on each side is a boarding ramp. It leads outside. And this ramp is also tied to the landing gear, so when you land, these ramps come down automatically. You can turn that off. The auto ramps switch will turn that functionality off, so that they stay up when you land. But this gives you access to the engineering section. 2 T1 generators, gravity gen, there's a couple of fuel tanks back here, RCS, oxygen, a couple fuel, warp drive, shield generator, the core and the wireless are in here, pentaxa tanks on this side. A little bit of asymmetrical design up here as well. Got the ammo locker over here. You could, and I originally had this warp drive across the back, but that brings a shield generator out here to the front. You use this up a 3x3 block here, which blocks access to getting between here. There may have been another block. Let's see, 3, 2. Yeah, I think I still had room to walk between there, but it just changes the configuration around a little bit. I thought I'd go with this asymmetrical design on this ship. Couple extra thrusters here for pushing up. There's basically 4 pushing to the side, 4 pushing back, 2 on each side, 4 pushing to the front, 2 on each side, and then 4 pushing up, 2 on each side, but then there's 4 more small thrusters up here pushing up, 2 on each side. So if we take the elevator up, it's the med bay on this side, the captain's quarters on that side, going up to the top. I had room to stick 2 grow plots up here, 3x3 grow plots. So we got a food processor and a fridge on each side. The cabin I've left open, just stuck a cockpit there. Figured people can design their own cockpit. I may throw some passenger seats in here before I post it, but I'm terrible at making cockpits. So I'm just going to cop out and maybe throw a couple passenger seats in here. I may throw a little decoration, but you can do what you want with that. And then these stairs lead up to the top deck, the SV hangar. And this is really just a little bit of fluff. I mean, you can stand in here, but you can't do anything much in here. Same thing over here. You can walk under this, walk out here, but not much to do here unless you're trying to repair your ship or something manually. And that's XCaliber's SV there docked on top. Basically this landing pad, including these white lines, the blocks that the white lines are on, is 7 by 7. 7 CV / base blocks, the dimensions. Like I said, I'll probably strip off some of these guns to get the cost down. Right now the Neo is really high. Yeah, 2000 Neo. Sathium, the guns may use that, but this glass up here is armored. I think the glass inside is not armored. but not too bad. The Neo is really the biggest concern for me. Cobalt's kind of high too, but that's also in these guns. So I'll probably, maybe I'll put a cannon on each side and a minigun on top or something, or maybe a minigun on each side, and the rest of the guns I'll get rid of just to get the cost down. But they're marked off where they go. Give you some idea where they go. Let's see how I've got it set up. So, full of fuel. If you're in power save mode, you got 20 hours worth of fuel with the current fuel tanks in here. Power save turns off all the engines and RCS. It does not turn off the constructors. They're separate on the production switch here. You see it drop down a little bit. Production is 2 large constructors and 2 food processors. I'm surprised it takes so much power for that, but there you go. Grow lights take a little bit. So let's turn power save back on. Sitting on the ground, it's not too bad while you drop at least 4.5 hours. But you got to do that to use the thrusters. You can see the ramp goes up by itself. That's the auto ramp switch, and all the sentry turrets pulled in, and the boarding ramps went up as well. That's what the bottom looks like. Give you a little better look at that. Land, the ramp will come back out. Boarding ramps came out. Sentry guns come out. So there you go. I've named this thing the CB10 level 10 unlock Micro Husk. ST stands for steel. For the hull is made out of steel. The Husk is a synonym for sheath. XCaliber names his CVs after his HVs and SVs are named after knives, and the CVs are named after sheaths. Husk is a synonym for a sheath, so the Micro Husk. That's the name I came up with. So anyway, this is not yet on the workshop as I record this, but I may go ahead and throw it up there pretty soon. Keep an eye out for it, and thanks for watching. Hope you found it useful, and I'll catch you next time.